As a person with very real interest in mythology, folklore, and alternate history, this passage of this book, again a great book, is very relevant to me. How are we to interpret all those tales passed down by the literate of the Middle Ages, that is, religious figures, of course, though not particularly credulous, that assert as a given what we have great difficulty admitting, that the dead appeared in full daylight to people who were awake and of perfectly sound mind? And then here's the passage I want to talk about. Are we to blame, as this guy Lucien Levy-Bruhl once did, the primitive mentality of an age foreign to our own logic? This video is going to be titled The Historian's Fallacy, because that was the next place I wanted to go anyway. And because Jean-Claude Schmitt is a good writer and an intelligent person, he went there for me. The historian's fallacy is the logical fallacy of a person either talking about an historical period or who is a professional historian, amateur, is doing the work of an historian who wants to use the biases and the assumptions of his time to think about the ancient or a time before his own. It's a fallacy because they didn't think in the same way. They couldn't think in the same way. They hadn't evolved to think in the same way yet. Even 10 years ago, people couldn't think the way we do today because they hadn't gone through the events in the intervening period that led to us behaving in the way that we behave. So when you think about the world before the right now, you have to remember that it was different and that the people who lived in it thought differently than they do now. So if you want to talk about, or you want to think about, or you want to imagine, or you want to be involved in history, you want to learn about history, you have to remember that at every single year, every individual year, they thought differently than the year before it. Which means the work of explaining phenomenon is significantly more difficult than saying that old folklore was just explaining away phenomena that couldn't be explained yet.